Oh no, is it ruined? Ah! I got her cut in half right there, see? No connections between the front and the back. And actually, if I didn't have it propped up with some boards, it would be on the ground right now. But hey, that's part of the saga of what we're doing here at Crazy Dad's Garage. This project is really close to becoming a short bed pickup, which is what I'm after. It's gone really smooth so far. I've got about a day into it to this point, and it's turned out that it's going to be something that I could accomplish in a weekend if I was really trying to do that. And so I'm excited about that. I'll get it all cleaned up here and welded back together, and then we'll put that short box on it that I've got off of a pickup bed trailer, and I'll have myself a pickup that I can use. And that's what I wanted. That's what I was after. Not the long bed, I want the short bed. So there's where we're going. We've got her done, cut in half. Now we'll let you see it when we get her all back together and see what a cool old truck I've created for myself. Yeah, I'm just joking around. But that's what we're doing here, is teaching you how to do these kind of things and do them safely and have a good time doing it. And don't spend a whole bunch of money. So I'll be back. If you are enjoying what you're seeing here, the whole detailed series on how to do this is on my YouTube channel at Crazy Dad's Garage and the Crazy Dad Bumpside. So enjoy. Here we go. Flag time to everybody who's been following along here. I just went over and took the measurements off of the short bed that I'm going to put on here, and these dimensions that I have this thing cut at are not correct. So what we've got to do, we've got to take this another 1 3/16 inches off right here. So I've got my new scribe lines there. So your total measurement on this cut should be 16.5 inches. Okay, and that means that back here at the back, I'm actually going to have to add that 1 3/16 inches back on. So your cut at the back should be 3.5. So I'm going to grab some soapstone here and write that on here. So you should be 16.5 on your front cut, and your back cut should be 3.5. So I hope nobody's already cut theirs. If you have, according to those old measurements, it's still fixable. You just got to cut a little bit more off of this one, and you're going to have to add something back on there. But those old measurements came from some diagrams based on the wheelbase of the trucks, and apparently those weren't correct, because I took those measurements off of the short bed box that I've got on hand and compared them to the measurements on my long bed box, and those old measurements weren't accurate. I don't know how that got screwed up somewhere, but that was something that you found on the internet, which is kind of typical. So it does total up that your total amount that the truck is shorter is still 20 inches. It's got to be changed over to these dimensions instead. So needed to throw that in there. I am not smart enough to figure out how to put this on the previous video, but I may go back in there and see if I can edit that and get that in. So there you go. We'll get that taken care of, and then we'll be welding her back together. Alrighty, got her cut back down to the right size, and now we're all clamped in place and leveled out and ready to go. I did check my measurement from this hole back to this hole, which would be the ones for the short bed, and now we're right on the money. So that's great. I haven't done anything with the back yet. I just wanted to get these back together first, so we're going to do that. We've got ourselves level here. I'm level at the front, I know, because I'm on rock solid jack stands up there. Here I've adjusted it with those jacks and got ourselves where we want to go, and then I've moved the level back here to the back of the frame and gone across here, and we've got that level. Little trick I did there, it wasn't quite where it needed to be, and I didn't have the tools to move it up and down, so that side over there was high,
so I started letting some air out of that tire until I got it to settle down to where I was level. So that's just one little trick you can use. That's something that helps a lot once in a while. Sometimes you actually will get something in a shop and you can't get it out the door by a couple inches. Well, you can always let air out of the tires to do that. So just an FYI trick. Anyway, I'm going to start tacking the thing together, and then we'll come back and show you what we've got done there. Okay, got her tacked together. I put several in. I had one here, one there, one down at the bottom, and one up here at the top, and then over on the inside I put another one down at the bottom down there. And I just throw in a little tech tip here on welding. When you're welding up something like this, I was taught a long time ago that you don't want to just take and weld all the way around this frame and then go over and weld around that frame. What that does is it's because when you're heating stuff, it warps things or has a tendency to. You want to, first of all, not make giant welds, so you don't want to necessarily go all the way up and down there in one shot, but weld here and then go to the other side of whatever you're welding and weld the same thing. And that way it puts the same forces into the frame as far as your heating and cooling goes. And so you do this one and do that one and then come back over here and do one here and then do the same one over there. And as you alternate that process, you'll end up decreasing your tendency for things to twist and warp as they cool instead of welding a big long bead. So that just a little tech tip there on welding up these things. I'm not going to boast about the beauty of my welds. I'm getting to the point where it's hard to see and I have to weld with reading glasses on. But I promise you they're going to be strong enough to hold. And the ones that have a little bit of a problem, I'll go back and add a little bit more in, like this right here. Couldn't see it really good, but I got a little bad spot out there on the edge that needs, so I'll put some more metal in there, and then I'll be able to grind it all off, and we'll have a nice, pretty weld. So, anyway, I'll move on. I'll get the rest of this welded up, and then I'll come back and share another piece with you. Alright, we got her all welded up then, and she's off of all the supports underneath, sitting the way it's supposed to. Welds turn out really good. I tacked back on these back pieces here. It just so happened that this hole ended up in the right spot to be able to use, so that's awesome. That's our bed mounting hole. The others will be, I'll have to drill them out for whatever bumper we decide to put on it. But those are all ready to go. Got both of them on there. And then to build myself a fish plate to go inside of the frame back there at those other welds, I took what was left of my rear portion of my frame rail back here. So they would have been put together something like this. Yeah, or whatever. Anyway, and then I split it down the middle and cleaned up all the edges, and they're going to go in there. Let me get you one over here. So we will come inside of here and put them in there, and then weld all the way around them. We'll grind this part off that's sticking out here so we can run a good bead along there, and put one on the top and then one down on the bottom like this. And that will give us a tremendous amount of strength backing up that weld in there. So that's my game plan there, and we're going to be moving forward with cleaning everything up. I got to do a little bit of grinding on those welds down there to get them smooth enough to set those fish plate pieces on, but then we'll be ready to go and get those welded in, and our frame will be back where it needs to be. Thanks for watching. Hope everybody's having a good time watching me cut my truck in half and then put her back together again. And we got our fish plates back in there. I took one of those pieces and welded it on the bottom there, and another piece welded up on the top. And between those two, what we're really going to do is, well, it's going to back up everything and stiffen it, but the main thing that I think is important, anytime you have a C-beam or an I-beam, the web of your beam it's mostly there stiffening things, and you're getting a lot of strength here. It's different from an I-beam. But the top and the bottom part of your channel there are what's taking the bulk of the stress. And so now I've got these fish plates welded over the weld where the stress points are going to be. And so they're going to take that up as well as go. They don't go all the way together, but I did go in and weld up the back of the weld that I welded down the outside of the frame too. So we're in there nice and strong and completely strengthened, covered up the way we're going to be. And so I'm not worried about there ever being any problems with this thing cracking or breaking or anything. I think we're where we need to be. So I'm going to grind those welds a little bit, clean them up, and then we're going to be ready to fix up the wiring, get the brake line replaced, and get our drive shaft back in, and get our emergency brake cables hooked back up. And we'll be ready to bolt the bed on again. So I'm happy we're there. We're done with the fabrication part. Now it's just a matter of piecing things together and putting it back together. Pretty exciting. So I'll show you some more pictures as we go through that process. And got the welding complete. I ground the welds down. I'm not trying for perfection here because I get a little bit of added strength by leaving those welds above the flat surface. So I did that. Now I've got primer sprayed on everything. I kind of cleaned them up and made them look a little better. My welding's not, like I said, real superior right here, but what I'm after when I'm welding is to make sure I've got the strength there, not hit first. My second priority is to get it pretty, and so I feel that's kind of where we've got it at now. But I've got these smoothed up, got that all set. We're ready to actually bolt the bed back on there now. So that's the process. Literally, I've got about 2 days in it at this point, and excuse me. Now I'm going to be piecing all the parts back together and getting ready to start cleaning up this wiring back here. I'm going to untape everything, make sure all the splices are good, redo anything that needs done, and then retape it so that I've got a nice, clean, organized wiring system here. And back down here, I really don't intend to cut that length out of there. I think what I'll do is, again, clean it up, tape it. Unless I find where I've got some wires that are bad, then I might just cut them and shorten them. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that anyway, just to clean up the process. You can do it either way you want to, but then we'll get it fastened back in place where it'll hold itself, and we'll be on our way. So there we go. Next step in the process is working on that wiring on the back end. So we'll talk to you as I get that done.